Hey friends, so here we are, January of 2024, and I'm going to take this opportunity to look back at 2023, kind of compare it to the previous years, looking at the statistics, also talking about all the drama that's been going on with the NAR lawsuits and what that could do to the real estate industry as a whole. So let me get right into it. First, looking back at the stats for 2023, we saw the total number of settled sales here in Hampton Roads drop dramatically. Now, the percentages stayed very much the same or very similar as far as the number of sellers to the number of buyers. So we are still in a seller's market because the amount of monthly inventory is still under 2 months. And I've explained what that is before, but I'll go ahead and re-explain it. Basically, if looking at the rate that homes have been sold in the last several months, we look at the absorption rate, and what would happen if no more homes came on the market, how long would it take to sell out of everything? And that's how they calculate that amount of months inventory. And we look at about 6 months as a neutral market. 4 months and below, and there is pressure on prices to go up. And as I stated, we've been less than 2 months for a long time. I had even seen less than a month at one time, specifically in Virginia Beach, and I believe in Chesapeake too. But the stats I'm looking at now are for all of Hampton Roads for it's the rain dead on stats. So let's take a look. So 2023, the median sales price here in Hampton Roads was $325,000. Average sale price $372,454. Average market time 34 days. Number of settled sales, this is what dropped dramatically, was 25,998. Now 22, there were 33,059 settled sales, and then in 21 there were 39,986 settled sales. So almost 40,000 settled sales in just 2 years ago, and down to about 26,000. So way more than 10,000. And because of that, we've also seen a drop in the number of agents out there. So agent count tends to go up and down with the number of settled sales, and whether people can actually make a living at this. And so what tends to happen is when we see a decline in real estate sales, we also see a decline in the number of agents. Now, looking at the median price and average price, etc., the median price in 2021 was $285. In 2022, $308, and as I said, in 23 it was $325. So the prices have steady been going up, and average price, same thing, $322 and change in 21, $350 22, $372 23. But the market time has remained somewhat similar. So 33 days in 21, 29 days in 22, 34 days in 23. Now, my prediction for this year is, because we have the interest rates have somewhat stabilized, and we've even seen it ticking down a little bit, still kind of hovering around that 6% number, plus or minus, depending on the loan type, which historically is not bad, but when we got used to those 3% interest rates, some even dipping into the 2s, all of a sudden 6 feels like a lot, and it does increase the payment quite a bit, but historically it's still a pretty good interest rate. So my expectation is we're going to see a similar market in 2024 than we did in 23. Just depends on the economy as a whole. However, I expect that we're going to remain somewhat steady, that we're not going to see a dramatic increase nor decrease, and there may even be some people who were sitting on the sidelines thinking about moving who have decided, you know what, the conditions are pretty much stable, so now's as good a time as any. And what I've always said, when you think about whether you want to, sell your house, make a move, whatever, you should not try to time the market conditions, because life is just too short to be trying to time every time you make a move. It's really more important to base it on your lifestyle and what you're trying to do, unless it's an investment property. If you're looking at investment properties, then yeah, trying to time the market may actually make some sense. Now let's talk about this whole NAR lawsuit thing. That is a lot of drama. Now the thing with the National Association of Realtors, they definitely promote home ownership through their political action committee. Now, how much of that is to promote home ownership and how much of it is to just promote the job of a realtor, that I don't know. And one thing that I'm just not a fan of is the fact that they talk about home ownership or promote agents. However, the membership fees don't go towards that. So here in Hampton Roads, it's unique where you can choose to be a member or not a member, or the brokerage can choose. And if the brokerage has chosen to be a member, you have to be a member of the Hampton Roads Realtor Association. In Carolina, where I've also have a license there, and I'm a member of the National Association of Realtors because the multiple listing service is run by the National Association of Realtors or the state association, whatever. So because of that, I am a member and pay membership fees there. However, the membership fees don't go to RPAC. They solicit additional amounts from you to try to get you to donate to that. So there's a lot of money going into this big organization, and I don't actually never have researched to where the money goes and what services exactly are provided, as opposed to what I feel the best purpose of them is that political action committee to help promote real estate sales and promote home ownership in America. Nevertheless, they had this big lawsuit, and the lawsuit was all about the fact that, I guess based on the wording or based on how the contracts were, that sellers were expected to pay the buyer's agent commission. And as I've said in previous videos, that's how it's always worked as long as I've been in this business, which has been since 2000, so 23 years now. However, what has changed, at least here in Hampton Roads, is it used to be per the paperwork we all worked for the seller, and then it evolved into where we had buyer broker contracts, and so the buyer's agent actually truly had a fiduciary duty to the buyer. However, the sellers are still the ones who paid the commission and agreed to pay the commission to their listing agency, which then split the commission or offered a certain commission to the buyer's agency. So that hasn't really changed over the years or how that's done. The only thing we've seen a decrease in commissions over time. Now the lawsuit though says that doesn't make sense. And I don't know exactly the paperwork or all that, how it was explained, but basically saying that sellers should have the option to not pay the buyer's agent if they choose to. And while that logic makes sense to me, I have never been one to try to, fight against the way the system is. And while I applaud people who try to make changes for the better, when I'm representing an individual seller, I want to analyze how things are now and figure out how I can help them the most, not figure out how can we use this as a platform to change the system that's going on. So with the current system, it still doesn't make sense to not offer a buyer's agent commission, because the people get locked in with a buyer's agent often before they physically go start looking at houses. So if they have a contract locked in with the buyer's agent, then it just makes sense to try to bring as many people as possible to see the house. And we don't want to discourage anyone from not seeing it because there's no commission offered to a buyer's agent, so no motivation for them to convince their buyer to go see the house. Now back to the lawsuit. So I just read an article actually today that the defendants who are in the initial case, which I can't remember what state it was, let's say Missouri, I may be right, the defendants who National Association of Realtors, Keller Williams, and I believe there was another brokerage involved too. Their lawyers have finally, I guess, refiled trying to reopen the case, which they did lose the case. So they're trying to reopen and I guess do a counter case or whatever you call that, so that they can reverse that judgment. Because what we saw after the plaintiffs won the judgment, we saw a bunch of other lawsuits that have popped out throughout the U.S. For the same thing. And I have also heard through different realtor groups that they've started seeing where people are now offering zero commission to the buyer's agent, so listing on the MLS but not offering a commission. The one thing I saw that was interesting, one person in particular posted in the Hampton Roads mastermind group that they had experienced this, and they got they brought their buyers, so the buyers must have seen the house beforehand, whatever. However, they did negotiate their commission and got a full commission with the offer that they placed on the house. So it's interesting to see how all that's going to play out. However it plays out, it plays out. My job, I feel, is just to observe the way things are in the current environment so that I can best advise people how to act currently to get their home sold or to purchase a home. Well, if you took the time to watch this whole video and listen to me kind of babble about real estate, I do appreciate it. And if there's anything that I can do to assist, please feel free to reach out and give me a call. Would love to help you, or if you know of any friends or family here in Hampton Roads who are looking to make a move, please send them my way.